This Bastion event gave me an idea. Hello you awesome possums! So what do you guys feel about adding a touch of PVE element in the game? That's what we'll talk about in this fantasy feature, a series where I share some possibly absurd or fairly decent ideas that will probably never make it in the game. Now the fantasy feature is to keep the Haunted Bastion or Rogue Bastion in the game, but add a few more stuff. For this one, bear with me here, let's call it Operation Skynet. That's a pretty cringe name, I know, but hear me out. This alert will spawn a Rogue Bastion that pretty much does the same thing as the Haunted Bastion, but with a small difference. The Rogue Bastion will spawn when a faction controls at least 50% of the map and will attack that leading faction. But wait, there's more. By the way, is it just me or this map kinda looks like a portrait? I mean, it looks like a babushka with a... Oh, anyway. So in Final Fantasy 15, there's a game mechanic where enemy troops will drop down at you at random, whether you're in or out of combat. I'd like to incorporate this mechanic to Operation Skynet, where on top of a Rogue Bastion wreaking havoc from above, it also deploys squads or platoons of NSO bots that have gone completely out of control. Hence, Skynet. Get it? Skynet? Self-aware? Robots? Anyway, we don't want these AI bots to be overwhelming or hard to push back, so they won't be too bad or too good, but with just enough skill or I guess programming to keep the players on their toes. These bots will continuously spawn or stay on the ground until the Bastion is destroyed or flies out of range, just like how the battle droids in Star Wars were disabled after their command ship was destroyed. In addition, while Operation Skynet's main directive is to attack the faction with most territories, the rogue ship and bots will attack anyone if engaged. So with this happening, it's up to the players if they want to capitalize on the opportunity to counterattack or not. Since we're in the topic of AI bots, I want to touch on continent-specific ones because I don't want to limit this to self-aware robots. For example, in Hasen, it's wet and gross, so it's only fitting that we fight things that are wet and gross. Nests will spawn here and there and will be facing hairy or wet or slimy creatures. 3 adjectives that you never thought you'd hear in a Planetside video. Or maybe something straight out of Skull Island. You know, like those crazy huge bugs. These creatures will be climbing from walls or jump from trees and give you the heebie-jeebies. In Esamir, after teasing players with its mysterious roar, the Esamir monster finally makes an appearance. Once it spawns and if not killed as soon as possible, the Esamir monster will call on mini-monsters and will continue to do so as it rampages its way back to its home, the Shattered Warp Gate. In the green and mountainous Amarish, it could be wildlife that have been driven mad or corrupted by the purple crystals sticking out from the ground. As for Indar, a dried up seabed that was once teeming with marine life is now crawling with amphibian-like creatures that evolved throughout the years. And of course, Oshur. No one should forget about Oshur, but watch me. Okay, I'm kidding, maybe pirates or drunk human pirates. Okay, I'm kidding again. Obviously, it has to be ocean related. So remember those underwater alien shrines from the campaign? Those things will start acting up and long buried alien things will start rising from the ocean floor. Also, I'd say it's a big ass kraken, but that's just a bit insane even for a fantasy feature. So unlike my Operation Skynet alert, these continent-specific PvE elements will spawn regularly. However, only if the population reaches a certain number. Or at the very least, scale the AIs according to the current players online, because we don't really want to see these things crawling around with not a lot of people to kill them. Now for MMO veterans out there, this idea will be somewhat familiar because it's an element that exists or existed in current or older MMORPGs. For example, the Fate from Final Fantasy XIV, Rift invasions from Rift Online, world bosses in World of Warcraft, and many more. Players in these MMORPG world events of course get an incentive for participating, as will Planetside 2 players. Players would get outfit resources or maybe 1 hour XP or cert gain buff, or even more important, actual or straight up certs reward. More ways to get certs and maybe more people might join or stick around longer. As Planetside 2 is an MMO FPS with hundreds if not thousands of players online in a single server, I think adding this MMO element would be great because it adds another layer of immersion to the game. So what do you think of this fantasy feature? Absurd? Too little? Too much? Let me know in the comments. And PS, the Haunted Bastion HP is way too low. Hopefully it gets buffed or at least scaled according to population. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching and as always, stay awesome, possum.